You know, in crypto space, there are some narrative. They come before, they were too early. We called them something. Now we changed it to another name, and now it's more successful or adopted. RWA was one of these narratives that was not new at all.
We had a lot of people in this
Yeah,
beta.
I was not expect. I've seen yesterday some people, some names. Oh wow, they are here.
You've reached Toby and Brent. We'll get back to you.
So we're in Singapore after Token 2049. We had a long week, but now we're not finishing. We're getting on with F1. And of course, we also have a couple of awesome guests on the podcast. And today we have Chris here. Chris has been a trader, an advisor, also in the space since 2016, which has been a very long time for most of the people here. Yeah. So I think you have probably, one or two stories that are going to be interesting to talk about. But maybe you want to just give a quick, some introduction of yourself, background, and also I would love to understand how did the space evolve from 2016 until now?
Yeah, it's been in crypto 1 year feels like 10 years. So being 10 years in the space is like 100 years. You grow, you learn a lot, you grow a lot in this space within a short period of time. So since 2016, I remember back then there was Bitcoin, it was below $1,000. And a couple of other coins. Litecoin maybe existed. Ethereum was just coming into from the ICO stage. So back then it was not clear what direction we were going, but there was still believer back then that we will get to this level. So which was this what pushed us, what created this movement in crypto. We were discussing yesterday here in some of the event, like some people, it was very hard to hodl Bitcoin back then because it did multiples X in order to believe that we're gonna get to the stage. It's very impressive now at this stage we are like globally adopted with now the support of the US government and the adoption everywhere. It's like I can see now the vision that we spoke about and what Satoshi spoke about even before. I think we're going even higher.
But tell me a little bit like, how did you, you're from Lebanon, you moved to Dubai about 10 years ago, and just give me a bit of an idea because everybody typically has a very unique story how they got into crypto. Right, especially if you're so early.
I know my story, it was a little different. I started mining Bitcoin in 2015, but not for the financial benefit. It was just because I wanted to buy some books without paying the full price at university in 2015 and some courses that I didn't like. And the only way was to pay some hacker to hack it with Bitcoin in 2015. So I saw that there is a way I can run some computation on my laptop and maybe I can get some Satoshis and pay for them. It was like, okay, great, let's try to do that. But then when I graduated 2016, started looking for a job and at the same time looking, okay, how this money is created. And then you go into the rabbit hole of like printing money out of nowhere and the whole Federal Reserve and how the money is created. Directly you fall on Bitcoin, where there was a prominent speakers back then. I remember Andreas Antonopoulos was the most of the prominent, let's say now we call them KOLs. Back then there was a couple of speakers. And since I understood the concept, when I read it the first time, I directly understood it. I knew that this will be the future and I will be there. I will continue this road.
So in the very beginning, when you got into the space, what were you focused on? Because there wasn't really like a very clear like startup space, right? With KOLs, exchanges, advice. It was all very, very new.
The KOL back then, or whoever was speaking about crypto back then, all changed, all disappeared. I can tell you that there is barely any of them that are still left, maybe a couple. And all the other changed. And back then in Lebanon specifically, it was very hard to get a Bitcoin. There was a couple of exchange, global one, that never support, till now they don't support, like Coinbase, to buy in this country. And the banking system was not taken also into consideration, so I couldn't even buy with credit card. I had to use localbitcoins.com and go meet someone in a shady alley in somewhere risky in Beirut and to get some Bitcoin back then.
But really?
Yeah.
So physically?
Yeah, physically. I remember I gave him a different road to where to meet, so I can see if he's coming alone or with someone. I give him cash. He sends me Bitcoin on local Bitcoin. This was the first transaction. And these Bitcoins, I still have like small amount of them, never moved since then. Because I spent some of it to come to Dubai and some of it is still there.
Well, what's interesting for me is like, in 2016, like no one knew where this were going, right? This could have been just a big idea that would fail, and no one would think that this would go to over $100,000, and you probably didn't as well. But what was your conviction to like go to these shady alleys and like give them your hard-earned cash for like something that's digital?
I remember seeing Bitcoin going from $200 to $1,000, then crashing back to 500. I saw, man, this you can trade it, you can make some money. So I remember it was 997. I had said to myself, I need to buy below $1,000. I need to buy the first Bitcoin below $1,000. So I had to run and get the first one. And no, for me it was a obvious understanding that Bitcoin is a limited supply. It's decentralized. Now it's more obvious for people, but also back then I was heavily into torrent stuff, which it made me understood faster the concept of Bitcoin, which is the peer-to-peer concept. Based on some of what I read and understood, that it can go higher. But I was not expecting it. I will be hodling till now. But after that, the whole goal was how to make more money to buy Bitcoin, not how to make more money to get more money from Bitcoin. This was my target.
It was like, how can I get
more money just to buy more Bitcoins?
That was always the goal.
Yeah.
So like when you got out of university, you went into crypto and you stayed into crypto.
I got a couple of jobs in my field, engineering. These jobs, the whole target was to get the salary and buy more Bitcoin. Try to get some Ethereum, some Litecoin back then. I remember I was pitching in where I was working, you should buy more Bitcoin for the manager, for the colleagues. And after a couple of maybe 1 year, I went full-time crypto.
What did your colleagues say when you told them buy Bitcoin?
They were happy, some of them, because they were buying, and they were. I remember BNB when it launched, it was 0.5, then $1, then $5, all sold at $5. I remember they were thanking me. They made a great profit, and for me, I kept buying BNB till $40. After that, I stopped. After that, I remember I opened a huge perp position on BNB. And this was the first time it went to 600. It was one of the most performing coins in the bear market. Yeah.
Oh, they did fantastic. But just give me a bit of an idea. Like, okay, you went full time into crypto, and tell me a bit about your journey, because you've done multiple different things, right? You've been advising a lot of projects. You've been trading yourself. You've been in the NFT side. So just give me a bit of almost like a crypto CV.
Yeah,
right?
It's a degen CV.
Yeah, degen CV. That's what I want.
It's like you start just buying spot. You do a peer-to-peer. Now we call it P2P in all the exchange. Before we had these different style like local Bitcoins. I started using Monero also for privacy. Then there was the boom of the 2017 and the crash. I was buying the whole crash. At one point I was at loss, but you look at it now, I wish we can buy more at this time. I remember the 2018 period, it was very silent bear market. Bitcoin we used to call it stablecoin around 6K. And then there was the COVID crash, and then we started going from there. Back then when it went silent, I started tinkering with the perps on BitMEX. Back then it was only BitMEX. And then it got introduced to Bybit was one of the early exchanges that launched as perp exchange. FEMAX back then, and then Bybit started adding perp. It was not the first exchange to add perp back then. After that, we started the hype of the ICO. There was the ICO hype. I remember EOS was the huge ICO winner. Many projects. We knew ICO stage was you have a white paper, you launch. You do ICO. It was white paper, ICO stage, and then disappear. I remember the BitConnect scam. It was one of the biggest scams that first time. I never participated in it. I remember it was in the top 5 or top 6 when I saw it. But I was planning to buy BitConnect, and every time I look at it, and it was not that obvious for me. So at the end, I passed out on it. It was good. After that, I remember we started the NFT hype. The NFT hype was crazy. I started building for other people collections, marketplace. Everyone was building a NFT marketplace. Then now what we call RWA was also into the NFT space back then. People were so excited about tokenization, how people have ownership. The metaverse then came. The hype exploded back then. We had multiple projects in Dubai around the metaverse. And I still think the values of the NFTs that represent artwork, it's not around the monetary value if they crash the floor price now, but it's more about the ownership. Now, after the ETF, the space heavily matured. I see now most of the space are filled with institution more than just regular DGen, and I see the volume these days is more driven by the institution than the crypto space, the regular ways that used to be in the previous cycles.
I agree. You've done it all. But I mean, your background is engineering, right? Do you think that kind of helped you along the way, kind of understanding the tech side of it better, or like what was sort of your advantage, you think?
Look, understanding the tech is key from early stage, and also being in a country where I never used the banks there before the crash. Even after that, the bank crashed in Lebanon, so I wanted to have my own ownership of my money. Engineering background also, I have like tech IT background. It was easier for me just to understand the space, but anyone could have also participated without full understanding, but it was critical to believe or what was happening, or to understand. Yeah, there is a white paper, there is mathematical formula proofs. It's not just a hype. Even till yesterday, I met some people from the TradFi that are now joining the space. They're still, well, I will not touch Bitcoin, but they don't have a reason why they don't want. But just it's
perception.
Yeah, like I'm traditional. I want to touch and to have something physical.
Yeah,
and they don't understand that like physical is digital these days. So the value is everywhere.
No, I agree. I mean, it's going to take some time, right? Like, it's not going to be a shift overnight, and still a lot more family offices, a lot more banks. It's a lot easier now.
Now they are in these events because they know it's the future. They want to learn more, but they've been always reluctant on the adoption.
Also, want to touch on Dubai, right? Because Dubai right now is obviously like a hub for crypto. Right, a lot of people are living there that are in crypto, they're working in crypto. A lot of big companies shift their headquarters to Dubai. And you came to Dubai 10 years ago, right? That's in Dubai time, that's also very long, right? Because Dubai kind of exploded over the last years. How was the crypto community 10 years ago compared to now in Dubai? And what do you think really like changed over that period of time?
Yeah, back then it was not adopted. There was a lot of small crypto meetups. We used to go 5 people, the same 5 people in the other meetup. We were like, we meet each other again and again. It's like our own small community. And I know some of these people are now founder of other big communities in Dubai. So I've seen the space grow. Where I remember we used to go to events, 5-6 people, the same people, repeating faces. But after that, and many projects that we're doing back then disappeared. But I remember the government back then, some of these government entities were already interested in the space, and they were supporting, exploring. I remember I was meeting with, I forget the people, but from some entity in the government. They were already trying to explore, giving a space for people to grow. Back after that, I remember the blockchain center was founded, and there was more growth and belief in the space. And after the 2019, the NFT hype, and it was full adoption in Dubai. I remember the stats, like there was more than 40% of Dubai resident holders of NFTs back then.
This is a wild number.
Yeah, it's still, I think Singapore is one of the most adopted countries that adopt crypto, and Dubai also one of them.
Yeah, I mean, it's very similar countries, right? Run almost like a company.
But also you think about it that these countries have fully structured banking system that they don't even need the crypto, but they are one of the most penetrated and adopted countries that are adopting crypto. Of course, you go to countries where they really need it, like in Argentina, Venezuela, Lebanon, Turkey. But mainly they are more into using USDT for their transaction. We're discussing it than just investing in crypto.
I think that's the key point, right? Like, in a lot of these countries where their currency is a problem, or the government is more corrupt than others, or just generally infrastructure problems because of war or like just underdevelopment, I think stablecoins is a big factor for payments, right? Yeah. Because people just want to transact it, but they can't, or like they're too scared to give it to a bank because they might not know if the bank is still around. But I mean, we're talking really about like the degen side of things, right? Like accumulating wealth over time with those digital assets, and I think that's still a very different picture than like solving a need. And that's why I think also this type of investments is very common now in Dubai and Singapore and places like this, because, you know, people are educated, people, you know, want to create wealth. And I think people already have a little bit of money to kind of like make that first jump.
Yeah, exactly, agree. But also turn out stablecoin is one of the topics that is going to be the narrative that's going to grow in crypto, and now is one of the leading narrative in crypto in this current stage of the crypto space. So payments is one of the things, wealth and digital gold, Bitcoin sold for it, stablecoin sold for it, and the next one I see RWA, where like this is where we are taking everything physical to digital.
It's like, I want to, as you just touched on RWA, you mentioned before that there was a restaurant in Dubai that was like, you know, part in the physical world, part in the metaverse, so to say. That's already, in my opinion, an idea towards RWA, right? Because we're basically taking like physical stuff into the digital world. And I think now obviously RWA is an interesting driver. It started with real estate or like tokenization of, you know, assets, but I think now we're going in a very different direction. What's your take on RWA in general?
RWA is evolving. You know, in crypto space, there are some narrative. They come before, they were too early. We called them something. Now we changed it to another name, and now it's more successful or adopted.
Yeah.
The best example, like betting and gambling or like sport betting, it's no, it's a no. But if we call it prediction market, it's amazing. So this new this change in terminology, it made it more adopted and more accepted. I think prediction market is one of the topic narrative that I'm very interested in, and looking into new project also that I'm working with going into this route. RWA was one of these narrative that was not new at all. Like everyone talked about it since 2018. That we can tokenize, we can improve the liquidity, everyone can own a piece of the land, a piece of this real estate, but the regulation was not there. And RWA needed institution, and it needs a small centralized element in it. It cannot be, in my opinion, extremely fully decentralized. There is an element of trust that will gonna be linked the physical to the digital. Of course, we have oracles and decentralized oracles to help in that, but there is some entity that owns this physical tokenized asset that is physical. So now with the institution adoption, it's being used and being understood more, because the institution, the family offices that own these physical assets are adopting the blockchain and are willing to tokenize it.
You know, it's really driving RWA as well, right? I mean, massive institutions in Dubai going into RWA, even like the big development firms, right? There's been a lot of innovation from Dubai in the RWA space. Maybe you can name a few things that were happening in Dubai related to RWA.
Even in 2019, I built an RWA project for someone who was tokenizing real estate in Turkey, but he owned these real estate stuff. And there was no protocol back then to follow which protocol of tokenization. Now there is a couple of protocols we follow, so it's more industry, like the ERC20 standard. We have a standard for that. Back then it was, I created tokens, then we said, okay, maybe instead of token, we give NFTs. It was like anyone who's doing his own protocol. I think standardization is key to grow this space. And I think most of the players that are doing protocols are based in Dubai. We meet them all there. Dubai is the hub for real estate. Everyone is looking to have like tokenized real estate. There are some government-backed entities, like I think the name Pripco was there. I've seen recently it was being promoted. I have not looked into it, so it's not an endorsement, but like I've seen it back. It's been being promoted other also projects. In my opinion, I'm more interested in the uncorrelated assets that are going into RWA.
For example,
because in the space we need RWA purpose is like to have also other assets in the crypto that you can use. Now most of the assets in crypto that even are being tokenized go up with the crypto and go down with the crypto if they are correlated. We have some tokenized stocks. I've seen X stocks project and other tokenized asset bonds and T-bills with Ondo and these other projects. But if we look if the stock market is going up, crypto is going up. If the stock market is going down, crypto is going down. It's fairly correlated, not like one-to-one, but like it's correlated enough. But if we have another asset that is uncorrelated, like real estate, where it's used really into DeFi, then which it's not there yet, but I think it's coming soon. Like I can take a loan on Aave backed by my house, that is my real estate, that is uncorrelated to the space. So Bitcoin is crashing, my collateral is not crashing, which is these days in crypto it's all the same. I have collateral, but it's going down. I want to take more as a loan, I cannot, because already my collateral, I need to add to my collateral. So uncollateralized related RWA is what is needed. I see in the space. That's why they are going and adding it. There is many addition to the space that will be helpful from RWA. There is multiple like concepts I see.
No, very, very, very interesting point. And I think everybody knows that like the lending part, and you lend against like Bitcoin or whatever.
We're lending against an asset that is already going up or down, and we're taking the same directional bet. So hedging, institution always they want to be hedged and they want to know predictability. So they're not gonna be heavily into DeFi until they know that they can have hedged position into their assets and their collateral.
No, I think it's a really, really interesting topic, and I want to go into one project specifically that you have sort of been involved in as an advisor. Have been very, very helpful. BTCLE. Right, basically a layer 2 for RWA. What does that mean? Why is that relevant?
Yeah, because I met the team. They were very passionate about Bitcoin and the crypto space, but they value the core value of the decentralization. There is many projects in the space also. They value that and the building on that. The specific and the unique offer of this team, they come from TradFi and institutional backing. They have the connection and they have the assets. But they wanted to bring it on chain and they wanted to bring it to the mass adoption, especially the traditional people that's still not in the space. So they want to bring the next investor that's still reluctant to join the space. In order to bring these new investors that are TradFi traditional, we were just meeting many of them here. They're still, when you tell them, yeah, it's on Ethereum, they are afraid of the volatility. If you tell them it's only on Bitcoin, what if Bitcoin crashes? So what if you tell them it's on a layer 2 backed by Bitcoin security, which is the most secure blockchain till now, which is this layer 2 is governed by the entities that own these assets, they know that there is an incentive for these entities to keep the assets and this layer 2 back. So they have big names. I will not mention, but they will be mentioned very soon and publicly announced. So these entities are backing their layer 2s and they will be part of the governance of the layer 2. So the BTCLE token is a governance token. So that's why I saw, okay, they have their unique offer is not just another layer 2, which we have many layer 2s on Bitcoin. Targeted layer 2 that will bring the TradFi and the institution that are still reluctant to join the space, and they will themselves be part of this layer 2. They will govern this layer 2. So they say, okay, as if they are part of this company and they are deciding on the future of this company and not putting it into the hand of other project or another layer that they see the founders online. They look like young founders, some of them degen, so they are scared. You know, the mentality of the institution. They want to have control over something. So every backer who's joining BTCLE or adding any asset on the layer 2 it will be also part of the governance, and they will be all incentivized to grow this layer 2 and add the assets. And that's why they focus on the RWA. They are bringing many assets from in the space. As far as I know, there is more of in the real estate part, in the hospitality part, in the diamond and the gold, and even tokenized carbon credit. So each partner who's bringing these on the table will be also part of the governance. I think this is a unique offer, not for regular degen only, but for the institution that are looking for these, that they trust already, these backers. We just talk, RWA needs a little bit of trust. I don't think you can tell them, yeah, it's a protocol fully decentralized, we don't know who controls it. Some whale might come, buy a lot of token, and then decide to change the parameter of by voting. If they know that they are usually they used to trust these Web2 entities, and now they are backing this Web3 layer 2, so it's more trustable for them.
I mean, you put a lot of pieces into BTCLE. Where are they right now? Is in terms of production development? Are they going to launch soon? So what can we expect moving forward?
Yeah, now they are building the governance layer. the partner are joining the governance layer and starting to build the project. The layer 2 protocol is in discussion with the partner. So as a new partner join in, they are taking their feedback, looking what they're really looking for, and based on that, shaping the design of the governance. So that's why it's flexible. It's not announced yet because they want to finalize at least 10 partner, 5 to 10 partner, where these are the core partner and the core investor in the project. We're shaping the governance token, and later on there will be the layer 2 announced with the layer 2 token.
What's the timeline we're looking at?
I think the timeline now, it's already there. It's already launched. The partner, they are already in discussion. They are on board, but just finalizing the discussion. I think by Q1, the layer 1 will be announced. The layer 2 will be announced, and by H1 it will be in testnet and then to mainnet.
We have a lot of exciting news coming up.
Yes.
Before we kind of wrap up, I would love to get your feedback on the week. I mean, Token 2049 a little bigger than your meetups in Dubai with 5 people in the very beginning.
Yeah.
Right now we're like 25, 30,000 people flying all around the world, and we have big events and parties and all sorts of different stuff that people are doing for the community and obviously for the team as well. So how was Token 2049 this year for you?
No, it was amazing. We've in Dubai we're used to it. In Singapore has a different twist. The attendee are a little bit different. Also, I liked many of the side events. There was some of them like very quality, curated event, more private but curated, and the attendance was crazy. I've seen the most of the topic are really going into the RWA, which is, I knew it was the narrative, but I was surprised how much it's now the narrative. It's like everything RWA. I was calling it now in this time. And to be honest, I really like the penthouse part where we are really meeting curated people. It was not more just everyone all around, and you don't know who you're meeting. Because on this side event, you go there, let's try to connect, but we don't know really who we're connecting until we discuss with them. Here there was very quality curated people. I like the themes. There was themes for each session, so I think this was very helpful and even more crowded than expected. So it was very, very nice addition for this part.
We had a lot of people in this penthouse.
I was not I've seen yesterday some people, some names. Oh wow, they are here. So it was really interesting.
Yeah, we're continuing for a couple more days.
Yeah.
So we're not slowing down, even though everybody is fighting.
Yeah, some of these
with
events
energy
are slowing down. Here we're adding more to the fire.
We keep going. So like last couple of words before we wrap up, how can people find you? How can you help? And what are you excited about for the next couple of months?
We're all now excited about October in crypto. I would tell them, don't be that excited. Like usually October is good, but I think we're in a phase that, in my opinion, Bitcoin is not anymore in a 4-year cycle like what we usually expect. And yeah, we say the cycle will end, it will crash. It's more institutional. I trade Bitcoin. I see the volume and the trades that are coming. It's not like the previous cycles where it's like led by some whales. These days, whales cannot by themselves move the market. Yeah. So I expect a longer cycle, and with the longer cycle, a more structured and more deep adoption. If we are really having the adoption, I don't think then there will be a bear market anymore. It will be just a small correction, or like deeper correction, but a correction to go into a higher new all-time high, for example. You can find me anywhere on social media, CryptoHead3 everywhere, and BTCL team at BTCLE also everywhere on social media, in Dubai or in any conference all over the world. Anything related to crypto, I will be there.
Anything related to crypto, he will be there. And yeah, just want to say thank you. This time was flying. A lot of interesting stuff. We could probably go on for another hour.
Yeah.
But I think that's very good for part 1. We'll see if we're going to do a part 2, maybe in Dubai or something at some point.
Definitely.
But yeah, I really appreciate you coming on and spending this time with us here. And of course, excited to have you for the next couple of days here at the penthouse as well. And we'll get back to you.